Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm sorry for my absence. I have been extremely busy with life, but we are back. Today, we're back with the Fire and Ice Magic Warden build. This build actually kind of slaps, I'm not even going to lie. It does a lot of burst damage, it does a lot of AoE. Alright, it does a lot of team utility. Alright, this build is very good. It's fun. I like the idea of using the ice and also using the flame and fire damage, so I think it's pretty cool. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. And please comment if you like it, if you dislike it, or anything in between. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the character screen. So we have 22,000 magic, 35,000 health now. Let's buff up. We have 38,000 health before, alright, before our death dealer's feat, so we do get up over 40k. We have 17,000 stamina, which is plenty for the build. We have 3,700 spell damage before we get buffed up. We have 27% crit. We have 1,600 pen before major and minor breach. And then buffed up, we have 28 and 25, and then 34 and 31. So we're basically maxed out on the back bar. Our magic recovery is 1,200 before a pot, and also before we account for the Betty Netch. And then we have 1,000 stam recovery. 1,800 crit resist. So I went 25 into magic, and then I went 39 into health. Scale this how you see fit. If you want to put more into magic, go ahead. If you want to put more into health, again, feel free. We are a Breton because Breton is just the best. We're using Jewels of Misrule because it's my favorite food. We're using the Mage for extra magic. Now this is personal preference. You can use the Atronach, you can use spell damage, you can use pen, you can use magic, health, whatever. Alright, I went for magic just to boost my damage a little bit and just boost my sustain. I like it a lot. Yeah. We also are Vamp Stage 3. I feel like that's kind of a must at this point. Yeah, the only build I don't use Vamp Stage 3 is my Arcanist, because Arcanist is so good. Yeah, so Vamp Stage 3. So that is the character screen. You need to go back and look at it, feel free. So for the gear, let's just get into it. So the front bar, we are using Red Mountain. Alright, so we're using a Ice Staff of the Red Mountain. This set is actually kind of slept on. It used to be better in the old meta with the proc meta with the Malakath and all that. This is still really solid. I use charge. Now, why do I use charge? For me, I think I find that charge is going to give me the most damage. Why is that? Well, right, where is it? Sorry, right here. Alright, Glacial Presence. Increases the damage of your chilled status effect by 817. Alright, so that actually goes up. That goes up to a solid 915. Now, why is that good? Well, we're using Force Pulse and we're using an Ice Staff, so our light attacks can proc it. I'm pretty sure our Glyph can proc it. And so can our Spammable. Alright, so can our Ultimate. So you're getting 900 damage at any given second. Charge can just be applied essentially on every hit, so you really could be getting charged with ice chill on every single hit. So that's a ton of damage. For me, charge is the best. I was using sharpen for the longest time, like trust me, the longest time on Warden, and I think my DPS has been up by a ton by just using charge, flat damage. So yeah, I really like charge. Also with Force Pulse, it applies the burning, it'll apply the shock. So it'll apply all the status effects, and you get it pretty much always. But anyways, what does Red Mountain do? It gives spell and weapon damage, it gives stamina, it gives crit chance, and then when you do damage, you spawn lava that launches at the enemy, dealing damage. This happens every 8 seconds. Alright, so essentially what it's saying, 8,000 every 8 seconds is about 1,000 a second. Now, this gets buffed as our stats get up, this gets buffed as our spell damage gets up. Now, for me, I think their animation's freaking awesome. Alright, that's number one. Number two, people hate versing it. They hate you when you use it. It also can apply burning, which is pretty cool. It's very good in duels. I've seen this hit for like 5-6k on a crit, which is insane to me. So if it lines up with everything you want it to happen with, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's just going to apply a lot of pressure to people. A big buff or a big proc every 8 seconds is for me, really nice. That extra burst damage that Warden needs. I love this set. Alright, it also is fun. So, I love this set. It's really, really good. I think it's really slept on. And who doesn't want a freaking volcano shooting out lava? I mean, come on. You're spawning a volcano. How cool. So on the back bar, we are using Danger Trickery now. Danger Trickery is kind of a freaking beast of a set. I mean, especially on a Warden, which with your ultimate. But we are using Defending. To me, I used to use Powered, and I'm starting to realize that Defending just is better. You get a lot more value out of it. Is Powered nice? Yes, but our heal's scaling off our max health. And getting that extra resistance is going to make you have to heal even less anyways. So I'm a big fan of Defending. I always use Defending if I can. We're using a Resto Staff for them heavies to get major mending whenever we want. We're using the Resto alt. Alright, so Resto Staff for me is the wave. But you get health, you get stam, you get magic, and then you get when you deal damage, you get 1 of 5 major random buffs. For 21 seconds, every 9 seconds. So what that means is you can have like about 2.5 of the buffs up every, you know what I mean, like 2.5 of the buffs, because you don't actually quite get 3 at once, but almost. So you can get expedition, movement, which is movement speed, protection, which is damage reduction, mending, which is healing, heroism, which is alt gen, and vitality, which is healing received. So if you can somehow get mending and vitality together randomly, that's insane healing. Now another nice thing to note is we do have mending and we have vitality on our weapons and gear. Alright, so we do have access to mending and vitality without this set. Alright, so we are using Malabeth. I'll give you a teaser. We're using Malabeth Scourger. That's going to give us vitality. And our Resto Staff gives us access to major mending. So does a green balance passive. Alright, so what does this mean? For me, I've done some testing, and I'm about 95% sure. If you are using your Resto Staff heavy and getting your major mending, and you're using Malabeth Scourger, if those two buffs are already active, they aren't going to be the ones that proc on your Daedric Trickery. Alright, keep that in mind. Think about it. Alright, then that narrows your choices down to Expedition, Protection, and Heroism. Alright, Heroism is my favorite one. So if you have access to Heroism, Expedition, and Protection as one of those 3 buffs pretty much all the time, because you are almost always going to have your Vitality up with Scourger, and you'll have your mending up a decent amount. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Alright, I've done the testing in PvP. Alright, I haven't been able to sit there at a bot and do it, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure if you have your mending up and your vitality up from another source, I don't think those 2 proc. Alright, again, correct me if I'm wrong. But that is why we use Daedric Trickery. This set's insane. Alright, so I gave you a teaser. We are using Malabeth. Alright, you get health, and then you get a 10% chance to tether to your enemy in 8 meters, deal damage every second, heal for the damage cost, and you get major vitality, increasing your healing received. Alright, the uptime on this is essentially 100%. If you're getting pressured 1vx and you have this up, and then you pop a polar wind, and then you somehow have your mending up, sheesh, the heal is crazy. Alright, so that is what we're using. Daedric Trickery on the chest again, Malabeth. Alright, so we're using 1 piece of trainee to get that Undaunted. Alright, Undaunted on light. And then we got Red Mountain, and then we have Daedric Trickery. Now, I went heavy on all the big pieces, right? So head, chest, shoulders, legs, feet, and then I went light waist and medium hands. For me, that was the ideal scenario, so that's what I did. You want to get that Undaunted passive. I actually only am at 3% max stats right now. You want to get to 6, Undaunted 9. I'm almost there. I'm like touching the bar. So yeah, on the jewelry, I'm sorry, we are using Red Mountain necklace, we're using Red Mountain ring, and then we are using Death Dealer's feet. Now, before I talk about Death Dealers, Red Mountain with the robust is not what you want. You would like to have bloodthirsty or infused, or even protective. Swift is good. I mean, if you want the stamina, feel free. I don't think it's worth it on this build. You have vigor, but you have plenty of stamina anyways, so just keep that in mind. But Death Dealer's feet, I've tried Malakath, I've tried Sea Serpent, I've tried Wild Hunt, and I come back to this every time. You get 2,200 resources, essentially. Each stack increases your resources. So now the good thing about that for Warden is that your minor toughness is going to scale with that. Alright, so as your health goes up with Death Dealer's feet, so does your 10% bonus, right? So you're getting extra out of it. You're getting extra scaling. So you're probably really getting like a little bit over 3,000. If we're being to be honest here, we're getting over 3,000. So yeah, it's a great mythic for Warden. All right, so let's talk about the gear. So there is a flex spot. I'm gonna tell you right now. Unstable Wall of Frost is a complete flex spot. Just keep that in mind. So here we're using Blue Betty. All right, so we want this on the front bar because we get extra crit damage for having it slotted. So just remember that. But it's a bread and butter skill. I'm sorry. It's a cleanse. It gives you your brutality and sorcery. It gives you magic recovery. It's really good. Here we're using Deep Fissure. All right, that's again our bread and butter skill. It hits like a truck. It does 12,000 on the second proc, and it does almost 9,000 on the first one. But the best part about it is you get almost 10,000 or about 9,000 penetration just for using it on people. If you hit a giant group in a BG or Cyrodiil or Imperial City, you are going to get a ton of breach on people and help your team out. Here we're using Bird of Prey. This is a snare immunity, so that negates the need for Race Against Time or Elusive Mist. But it gives you major expedition, it gives you snare immunity, and you get minor berserk, and you get 4% crit damage from it. So this is a loaded skill. You get a ton of buffs: berserk, immunity, expedition, and crit damage, all from one skill. So anytime you're in a bind, or you get caught in a challenge, you get caught in a fossilized, you get caught in, well, anything, even Rush of Agony. All right, if you get pulled in by Rush of Agony into this area, you can just put that out and kind of run away. So really good. So like I said, here we're using Wall of Frost. Now this skill is really not bad. The problem is we're not using the Maelstrom Ice Staff, so there's really not huge use for it. Now for me, I really like the CC. I like the extra damage shield from the projectiles, and I also like the fact that it explodes, right? So it does a little bit of burst damage, which is nice. Now it does say it does 900 every second. Now what's the good part about it, right? What is the good part? For me, you're going to be applying shield pretty much on every tick. So it's almost essentially adding in 900 damage to every tick. So that's really nice. Another option would also be Impaling Shards, or the Frost ground cover thing. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Impaling Shards, I think. Whatever it is. The other one. Whatever. But yeah, you're essentially adding 900 damage to your Unstable Wall of Frost every second, because Chilled will be proccing pretty much every time. So it's really nice. It does just pump up your damage a ton. So that's nice. Also, when the effect ends, you get another damage shield, so that's good. You get a 15k damage shield. For Force Pulse, it is basically our bread and butter skill, the best skill on our bar. And why is that? Because one, it's AoE, right? So if anyone has a status effect, because you have charge, they probably will. They're going to do 8,000 magic damage in an AoE, and then you're going to do 6,300 every spammable. It's such a great skill. Now the frost damage is basically 3,000. Pretty much every hit's going to apply burning, and pretty much every hit's going to apply shock, right? So if you're applying the status effects, you're just doing extra damage. So that's why I use charge. Using Force Pulse with charge adds in so much extra damage that it's just incredible. It really is. It's really nice. Now I actually did make a mistake. All right, so this increases the damage of your chilled. So it doesn't do 900 extra. It actually does like 1,600 extra, because it does the chilled, and then on top of it does the 900 more. So you're adding in a ton of damage, right? A ton of damage with all your attacks. So here, we opted for Ice Storm instead of Northern Storm. Now, the reason being is that this skill literally melts people. Eye of the Storm is the morph you want. I have Ice Storm right now, but Eye of the Ice Storm is legitimately incredible. I mean, Dawnbreaker's good, Meteor's good, but so is Ice Storm. So, I mean, I love this skill. The ultimate is totally your flex spot. Whatever you want to use is up to you. On the back bar, we're using Ice Fortress, like always. We're using Vigor for the heal and the minor resolve. Here we're using Polar Wind, because Polar Wind is just far superior to Arctic Blast, in my opinion. When your health gets up, this thing heals for like 15k. And when it crits, it does a lot of healing. I can't get it to crit right now, but unfortunately I couldn't get it to crit. Did I get a crit? Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. Okay, oh well. But yeah, it does a ton. It's also a 3,000 health every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds. So not only is it a big burst heal, but it's a huge hot. So you stack Vigor with Polar Wind, and you're pretty much back at full health because you're getting healed for 1500 a second. So really good. Here we're using Crystallized Slab. You can stun people with it. You do a lot of damage, and it's an insane damage shield. I tried using the other version of it, the one that gives Major Heroism. I'm not even going to lie, that one sucks. The reason being is because the shield damage is like half, so any projectiles breaking through that baby, I don't like it much. So that's just how I feel about it. I don't know. I like the CC on it too. So here we're using Lotus Blossom. All right, it gives your crit, and if you're weaving light attacks like you should be, all right, like you should be, you're gonna get a ton of healing from this. You're gonna do a lot of off healing with it. Also, when you do your Resto Heavies, it stacks with the Resto passive right here, if I can find it. Here you go. Gain Major Mending after a heavy attack. And you also heal yourself or an ally within the area. So it stacks with that because you heal off of heavy attacks. So that's really nice too. You can get a beefy heal just for heavy attacking. And it's really cheap, and it lasts for a minute. Here we're using Life Giver, right? Big heal. Really good, right? I mean, Enchanted Forest is still good, but I like Life Giver because it's just a big AoE. You don't have to worry about being in the area, and it does 8,000, 9,000 every second. So, big fan of that one. But that is the skills I'm using. Here in the CP, I'm using Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Ironclad, and Untamed Aggression. And then we're using Celerity for the movement speed. Reduced damage taken for every 2 negative effects. Pain Refuge, sustained by suffering, and Peace of Mind, just for a lot of sustain. So that is what we're running, guys. I hope you enjoyed the build. For me, I think it's one of my most fun builds. I really do like it. So again, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know what you think down below. Have a good day. I hope I see you again soon. Peace.